Breaking news at 6 o'clock. Mecklenburg County Manager Harry Jones, we've learned, is a finalist for a job in Birmingham, Alabama. The Jefferson County Commission says Jones is one of 3 people they'll interview this week to be the county's first manager. That small field narrowed from a field of 56. We've tried to contact Jones for comment. We have not gotten a response yet.
This WBTV high-definition program is sponsored by Time Warner Cable. WBTV News at 6 starts right now.
Most of these things never ultimately make any real sense to us.
Senseless. It could have happened to anyone. Tonight, police confirm a quiet neighborhood's worst fears. There was no rhyme or reason for the murder of a man in broad daylight. Good evening. I'm Brigida Mack, in tonight for Maureen O'Boyle.
And I'm Paul Cameron. Welcome. Random acts of violence in Charlotte, almost unheard of. But tonight, police say this man, Carolina's healthcare executive, Robert Barber, had never met his killer before. His only crime, choosing to walk home from his morning visit to the coffee shop. Last night, police arrested 18-year-old Chauncey Sterling for Barber's murder. They say he walked up to Barber and tried to rob him, then shot him dead. WBTV has live team coverage of tonight's developments in this case. Jeff Atkinson with how unusual of a crime this is for investigators. But let's begin with Sharon Smith, who's live in South Park, where nerves have been rattled. Sharon?
And Paul, talking to neighbors out here, there is relief that comes with this arrest and answers. Now neighbors at least know that this was not gang motivated, that Sterling actually had family in this immediate vicinity, so that's why he was in the area. And now they know the motive, that it was robbery, though police say Barber wasn't specifically targeted. Something else is very clear tonight, too, the lingering effect on those close to the crime scene. The shooting happened right outside Lamar Hicks's front door. He's lived here 31 years.
Every time I wake up at night, when I wake up first thing in the morning, that's what I think about. I think about his poor family. Think about it could have been me.
A random murder on a quiet street. Even Chief Monroe said he was concerned about catching the killer.
I was there Friday afternoon, and by the time we left that scene, we weren't feeling very good about whether or not we had enough information that would ultimately lead to the closure.
That was my thought with a vague description we had of him. I said to myself, they're not going to be able to identify this guy unless somebody steps forward.
And people did. The chief said countless tips came in and police worked every one. Last night it was Sterling's own family who helped police make the arrest. Now an 18-year-old kid with a relatively clean record could grow old in prison. And a man who friends say did so much for his community never got the chance to retire. Hicks said his wife kept thinking about the man who lost his life right outside.
And she said, I just want to go out and hold that man's hand. He looks so lonesome, so vulnerable, if you will.
And Mr. Hicks had very few words to say about Sterling. Chief Monroe said that Barber and Sterling did have some kind of confrontation, and to that the chief said, anytime you are approached by a robber, especially someone with a gun, you always obey their commands. It's a matchup you cannot win. Also, that murder weapon, police say they have seized it. They have it now as evidence along with ammunition that matches the crime scene back here. For now, we're live in Foxcroft East tonight. Sharon Smith, WBTV on your side.
Sharon, thank you. Now, just moments ago, we spoke with Chauncey Sterling's mother. She didn't want to go on camera. She told us he's the father of 2 baby girls. He played football at Northwestern High School but dropped out and was supposed to get his GED this year. More on who this accused killer is. All new tonight at 11.
This is the second time this month police say a random innocent victim was killed as the result of a botched robbery. Just last week, police arrested Felix Patton for the murder of Christopher Satterfield. He was outside smoking a cigarette when officers say Patton shot him to death. WBTV's Jeff Atkinson continues our live team coverage from our newsroom. Jeff, you know, most murders here are domestic or drug related, so this is really an anomaly.
It is, Brigida. There was a study done several years ago looking at the homicides in Charlotte, and nearly all the cases happen to what criminologists call high-risk victims and or in high-risk areas. This case involved neither, which is why the killing of Bob Barber has gripped the city's attention and threatened our sense of security. If it can happen to a man in his 60s walking down the street in broad daylight in a neighborhood not known for crime, then it seems nowhere is safe.
But that's not the case You're right. This is incredibly shocking because of the fact of its low probability. Most of the homicides, not just in Charlotte, but in most places, occur with what we call high-risk victims.
Charlotte's police chief said it himself at today's news conference. It didn't make sense. In tonight's cover story at 7, separating the fears and the facts. Brigida, back to you.
All right, our Jeff Atkinson live in the newsroom. Thank you, Jeff. We should mention, though, CMPD is catching accused killers quickly. There have been 9 homicides in Charlotte in 2011, and arrests have been made in all 9 of those cases.
No criminal charges for Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officers who hit and kicked a shooting suspect. The department announced today the officers used a reasonable amount of force when subduing Malcolm Springs last month. Springs was accused of shooting a man during a robbery, then shooting an officer in the leg. Police say they had to use force because Springs was resisting arrest. The FBI is still reviewing the case to see if Springs' civil rights were violated.
Trash talk tonight over 2 projects that neighbors say stink. There's the Reventure Park project in West Mecklenburg County. The so-called green development includes a giant garbage incinerator. And then there's the expansion of the Foxhole landfill on 521 in Ballantyne. Right now, it only accepts construction debris, but it could soon be filled with everyone's rubbish. WBTV's Sarah Batista joins us live now. Sarah, neither project is a done deal, but neighbors want them thrown out anyway.
Brigida, the reason why we're even talking trash tonight is because Mecklenburg County's contract with the landfill it currently uses in Cabarrus County is going to be running out next summer. So now we have 3 options as to where Mecklenburg County's trash will go, and neighbors say all 3 of those options have pitfalls. Most of us don't think about where our trash is going, but it has to go somewhere, and for now, trash from Mecklenburg County goes to a landfill in Cabarrus County. But that could change next summer when the county's contract with the landfill runs out.
We have 3 options to deal with our residential solid waste going forward.
One option is to use the Foxhole landfill off Highway 521 in Ballantyne, but right now it only takes construction debris. That's why earlier this month, county commissioners voted to spend $15.1 million to expand it. But people in Ballantyne say more garbage trucks equals more traffic.
It would be hard to get to where you want to go all the time. It's hard enough now.
Option number 2, send some of the trash to the Reventure facility in West Mecklenburg County. If approved, the facility would burn trash and turn it into electricity. But the overflow would still have to go to a landfill, and environmental groups say it could contain hazardous materials.
When you begin accepting industrial waste, that is a whole nother category as compared to municipal solid waste.
Option number 3, keep the trash going to the Cabarrus County landfill. But remember, the county's contract runs out next year, and no one knows yet how much it will cost to renew.
It's too important a decision not to have public input and a public discussion on this issue.
So neighbors and county officials will meet tonight to discuss those 3 options. The meeting starts at 7 o'clock tonight. It is at Elon Park Elementary School in Ballantyne, and it is open to the public. For now, we're live in West Charlotte. Sarah Batista, WBTV, on your side.
All right, thank you, Sarah.
It is after 6 o'clock and still in the 80s, lower 80s today, almost summer-like day. Here's Eric Thomas in the First Alert Weather Center.
All right, Paul, there you go. Well, with the summer-like day, summertime storms had a couple across the mountains today, but severe weather breaking out west of the Carolinas. Tornado warnings once again in the middle of the country. That system coming our way, and it's coming up in your First Alert forecast.
Once it's got Michael Jordan.
25,000 baseball cards is more of a tribute than a collection.
He would. He'd be proud.
I'm Kristen Hampton. The good news is coming up.
See all